This is Richard Blade, the voice of the 80s and gay rock radio, and you're listening to the voice of 91 Reasons, Jeff Tucker. Totally awesome.
You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
Let's get this panel started. Yeah! Stick around, because if you like DVDs, this panel is for you. And also, before we get into the panel at the end, I'm going to be playing a very special video at about 7:45. So stick around. But I just want to say, let's make home entertainment great again. Chris Gore, I'm a movie nerd. For 8 years, I did the second on Attack of the Show called DVDDuesday. For me, many of the people on this panel are DVD producers whose work that I admired so greatly, and I'm so honored that they're here to join me today. Let me introduce them really quickly. Here we have Brian Ward from Shout. Lauzirika, if you know anything about this, he created the greatest version of Blade Runner ever. Cliff Stephenson is here as well, also a DVD producer, who most recent work was Hannibal. And also joining us, a friend of mine, a comedian. He does one of my favorite podcasts, a movie geek, he's brother in spirit, Jeff Tucker. From the 91 Reasons podcast. I love Jeff. Now, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be asking these very good friends of mine questions about movies and DVDs. In between each of the questions, I'll be asking you to ask some questions. Please feel free to jump to the microphone here in the center to ask some questions.
But Chris, what will they get?
What's that?
What will they get?
Everyone who asks a question gets a free DVD.
Yeah!
You might get something like Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah. Or you might get Dick Shark. The first person to take the CD out of my hand wins the copy of Dick Shark. So there you go. This is how this is going to go. And I hope that I've got enough DVDs for everybody in this audience. So stick around. Let's get to our first question for this panel, because we have such an esteemed panel. Can we close the door right here?
The outside world scares us.
My first question is for everyone on this panel. What is the DVD or extra you produced that you're most proud of? We're going to start with Brian. I'm going to go around with fashion stuff.
I would say for any number of reasons. I think maybe the Pee-wee's Playhouse box set was my favorite because we ended up doing, how many? 4 hours.
Is that the Pee-wee's Playhouse with Paul Rubens?
That would be the one.
I love that guy.
And we worked on that for a long time. My is my goal. And that was fun.
Well, thank you, Brian, for asking that. And you, of course, get a copy of Dick Shark. Charlie, what was this DVD extra you produced in most proud of?
And I can only pick one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's tough. But
I sent you the questions in advance. I know you can do this.
I know. You're the one who wants to make things up. I have to go with Alien Anthology, I think. It's my favorite series. On a personal level, I love Blade Runner. I'm going to sneak in. On a personal level, I love Blade Runner the most, but to me, it's the achievement of it. I think Alien Anthology, because there's like 4 movies, multiple cuts. commentaries. Like, I think there's 18 hours of documentary on disc 5 alone, not to mention, I think there's 60 or 70 hours more on the 6th disc. So if you like the alien movies, I think that's probably the end all be all, I believe.
And not to toot your own horn, but
that's why we're here, isn't it?
One of my favorites is Prometheus. Whenever you think of that movie, there's that DVD extra that is just the transmission video. What is the name of that video? I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. That's
You did a copy of the
Did you coin the term quadrilogy?
Definitely not.
Was that the set that had quadrilogy as the first time?
The DVD set was quadrilogy.
Yeah.
And I learned about it along with everybody else when it was announced.
Yeah.
I was just like,
The quadrilogy.
yeah.
Now we're just making crap up.
Right. But when the Blu-ray came up, I politely asked, "Can we change that to Anthology?"
Yeah.
It's probably more than 4 now, so anyway. There you go. You should get a Dick Shark right away, just for that.
I would prefer.
What's your...
In terms of like a singular special feature, I did a commentary for the movie Waiting, and on the commentary we had the director and the producer, and we did a telestrator commentary, but they could also control the movie, so they could pause the movie, draw on the movie, rewind it, they could basically control it, and it turned a 93-minute movie into 2 hours and 10 minutes. With the commentary, but it was something I wanted to do, and it was kind of a technical exercise, and it turned out really well, and it's still kind of the thing, the singular thing that I'm probably proudest of.
I have a question for Jeff Tucker, and just so you know, we have a microphone right here. Everyone who asks a question is a DVD. They're not all Dick Shark. You might win a copy of Nightmare on Elm Street. It's probably just a shit Dick Shark. I'm going to be honest. Jeff, starting with you, and we'll come back this way. How many DVDs do you own personally? And can you name a DVD that's for you a guilty pleasure?
Oh yeah, I have about 900 DVDs. I can't stop. I have at least 100 still in the plastic. Like, I get them for gifts. I'm like, I'm going to watch that someday. And I'm like, it turned out I had 6 copies of Skyfall. I don't know what the hell happened. So I started giving them out like copies of Dick Shark. But, no, a guilty pleasure. My wife will walk in and she'll go, "Are you watching The Cutting Edge again?" I have seen The Cutting Edge 200 times. Toe pick. It's not even that good a movie. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but I watch it all the time.
Okay, question for everyone. How many DVDs do you own? Guilty pleasures. Cliff, let's come this way.
All right, I probably, between DVDs, Blu-rays, I probably own 3,500.
Nice.
It's like I've got boxes of stuff that I just don't even have room for. That just I'll go, well, where's that thing? It's probably in a box. Just because I sort of buy everything and I look at everything and I'm always curious of what everybody else is doing and what do they do for the menus, and so I just sort of buy everything. My guilty pleasure, I gotta go Xanadu. I gotta go Xanadu. I'm going to see Jeff Lynne ELO at the end of the summer, so.
Charles.
I had a hard time counting. I got it to about 4,700 DVD, Blu-ray, and discs. So 4,700 of those, and guilty pleasure. That's a Showgirls, actually.
Nice.
You know what? Just regular TV. My lovely old friend Carly and I will watch it, and we'll just have a great old time.
It's so romantic.
I'm disappointed in you because I don't think you feel guilty for watching it. I don't think you feel guilty at all.
Yes.
Brian, what about you?
Well, when we moved, I got rid of a lot of my Blu-rays and DVDs, but I kept probably in the range of 1,000, 1,200 maybe. And
You thought you were going to be lying.
I would say that
The collection's positively adorable.
Yeah, I know.
I do not feel guilty for liking any. When I looked at myself, I would just sound like I'm embarrassed. But yeah, I don't really think so.
Big Shark. That's your new one. Mine is Coming At Ya, which is a preview.
Oh, Coming At Ya.
No one else knows that movie but I do. Coming At Ya. And you did Brian a copy of Nightmare.
Coming At You is great, Chris. Treasure of the Four Crowns?
Let's get a question right here in the center. Sir, what's your question? And you will walk away with the DVD.
I was wondering what you think is kind of the best documentary you think of.
Love the radio voice. Can't understand it. Can you speak more? Speak
louder.
So we can all hear you.
I was wondering if you could think of a documentary that's really good for an mainstream, lesser known movie.
Ooh, that's good. A documentary for lesser known. That's good. And sir, come up and collect your free DVD. Let's go on Blu-ray, right?
Nice. Trading is allowed and encouraged.
So, for everyone on the panel, a documentary that you would recommend.
But for a lesser known movie?
Lesser known, yeah.
God, that's hard.
I like the behind the scenes extras on this film called The Battery, which I know you guys have seen. It's a super micro budget film directed by Jeremy Gardner. It's a zombie movie. And it did really well in Festival Circuit a couple of years ago. And they put a lot of work into their extras, and they're very honest. I'd recommend that. But it's not such a lesser film, but another documentary I can talk about that is an indie film is the one that's on Magnolia. I think the documentary on Magnolia is really great. It gives you this intimate access with Paul Thomas Anderson and the cast and stuff. It's really a terrific documentary.
All right, I actually have an answer.
I have a DVD to recommend, but where's the guy who has the question? Where is he? Raise your hand. Come over here. So I'm going to give you the copy of the movie that I'm recommending, which is called Elsie 1976. It's about all the masked characters from Star Wars, and I'm giving you the documentary that I actually recommended to you, which...
I've heard good things about that.
At this panel, make your dreams come true.
There you go.
All right, so I've actually got an answer for that. There's a really, really good, not as well known, there's a movie called Crave. It was directed by Charlie. Yeah. And the extras on Crave, as you can imagine, because they're for the film of a guy who knows what he's doing, and you had nothing to do with him. But the extras for Crave are great. The movie Crave is great. Go find it. Charlie directed it. It's an amazing movie. It's got Ron Perlman, Josh Lawson, Edward Furlong. It's a great movie. Go find it.
Thank you, Cliff.
Hey, Chris. You ever heard of a movie called What the Hell Just Happened?
What the hell did
With Robert De Niro playing agent. It's not a documentary, but it. What's it called?
What just happened?
What just happened? He plays agent to the stars, and it's portrayed as like fiction. But if you know the story behind it, in the film, Bruce Willis has a meltdown as some big movie star. And the story behind it is that they're actually parroting what Alec Baldwin did on The Edge. So if you just watch it knowing that that's exactly what Alec Baldwin did making The Edge with Anthony Hopkins, it makes a pretty crappy film pretty good.
Nice. Let's get our next question from the audience.
Hey. Me and my buddy are massive physical media fans, so thanks for producing. Just loving and appreciating movies and not reviling them like most people. My question though is, can you maybe describe what a DVD producer actually does? They're in charge of producing documentaries, building a menu, what exactly are you guys kind of doing?
For any of you guys up here, and that's a pretty good question, so you're going to get a copy of Insurgents on Blu-ray. I don't know what you should be planning for that. But you will get a copy of Insurgents.
The studio just announced there's no final film in that series that's going to a TV show. TV movie, yawn.
That's a very, you could do a whole panel on that one question.
Yeah, I'll set this one up.
I'll take a shot.
What would you like to do?
It's different all the time. I mean, I've been a DVD producer in different capacities, doing different tasks on different titles. It's rarely the exact same thing twice, but it could be, in the case of Blade Runner, where I produced all the behind-the-scenes added value content, the documentary, like a 3.5-hour documentary, Dangerous Days, all the featurettes, the deleted scenes, commentaries. But then I was also involved, I was the restoration producer on the final cut itself of Blade Runner. So that was really all-encompassing. I consulted on the packaging, the menus, and all that. So that's one where I was all in. Then there's sometimes you just do one piece out of the whole thing, or you are in charge of just the menus and maybe transfer the film. It really varies from time to time. And also, I may go out on location on a new movie and shoot the behind the scenes myself, and then work with a crew to do interviews and cut that together. Or I might be on an older film where that stuff doesn't exist, so we have to go dig up old material that someone else had produced back in the day and rework that into something new. So every single time I've produced a DVD, it's been very different than the last time. Unless it's like a TV show where it's more regular routine. But movies are always kind of a different animal for me. I don't know what you guys think.
At Shout, well, everything that he just said is absolutely right. It's everything that I do every day. You guys are you're all freelance. I'm a salary employee at Shout, so every single day I am working on menus, I am working on audio commentaries and looking through archival stuff and restoring films and then going and shooting docs and handing the footage over to the editor, right? It's done movie cuts and all that. It's that for me, and I think it's probably the beauty of being at Shout is not allowed to touch everything from the packaging down to the menus and the movie.
Can I tell you my favorite thing button? Play all. Your favorite button?
Yeah.
Let's have any questions from the audience. Step up, sir.
Hi, my name is Lloyd. I'm talking about Aaron, big fan of social media. There's really more. When you said insertions, like, no, who's that? But who's the sleeve? It's a special edition. It's pretty cool. I love that. And I have a hard Blu-Ray DVDs, works with you guys got I love special editions. I'm absolutely things you can get on Tuesdays. So my question is, with Blu-rays and 4K, you have so much memory on these now discs, but these special editions really just don't blink. There's no real content for them to have, or documentaries like that, and behind the scene footage, and you don't get that anymore. What do you think is the result of that? Why can companies not provide more of that content? Or you said your Prometheus is a brilliant special edition. We don't get enough of that from even Star Wars anymore. And also, what is your favorite special edition Blu-ray or DVD that is out there? The pretty low packaging and everything. What's your favorite?
First of all, such a rich question. I feel like you should get a copy of Hannibal Season 3 out.
I mean, the straightforward answer is it's money. It's how much do the studios want to spend to do this versus how much are people still buying for the special features. So, 10 years ago, you could sort of get away with putting a lot of money into special features because everybody was still buying DVDs and Blu-ray was just sort of starting. And that's kind of fallen off. People have gotten into streaming, so not as many people buying means not as much money put out towards doing those special features. There are exceptions, and Shout is a great example of a company that seems to be their drive, is they love that stuff. I mean, they're fans. Shout is fans just like you're fans, just like I'm a fan. And so they produce what they would want to see. Am I correct in saying that? I don't want to speak for you.
No, I would actually say that it's kind of my open dream that studios stop giving attention to movies. In 20 years, I can give it all the attention you can. I think you're...
Yeah, but I mean, it all just, it's everything else. It's money. It's if there's no money to be made from doing that, then there's no money put into that.
But also, like with new formats, studios might want to just tiptoe into the pool before they start going to the deep end. They want to try to figure out what the appetite is for a new format, how many extras are needed to sell the disc, and they then put out a bare bones disc first and then come back to it later. There's a variety of strategies I think that are in consideration beyond the money, but ultimately it boils down to money.
Quick question for all of you guys. Who's your favorite independent DVD that went out one of my favorites is Super by James Gunn, which is a movie that he made just before Guardians of the Galaxy. I love that film, Super. So you guys have a favorite independent DVD that's,
Can I say Crave again? No, I won't say Crave. I like, there's a movie, maybe it's 15 years old, called The Better Place, which was directed by Vincent Pereira, who was Kevin Smith's View Askew historian for a while, and has a great hidden commentary that's like this, it's pretty much just a commentary, but it's really funny, and it's hidden, and you have to put in a code, you have to do all this crazy stuff. And it's a good movie, too, so I think Synapse put it out at the time. I don't even know if they're around anymore, but that was a fairly independent, off-the-path thing that I liked.
Anyone else has a DVD that they would recommend?
My Big Fat Independent Movie.
I love that film. It's a classic. I worked on that movie. Thank you, Jeff, for that. Our next question, the next person who stands up is good. I can never pronounce this guy's name. It's the movie The Last Witch Hunter with Vine Diesel. So you will get a copy of Last Witch Hunter with Vine Diesel. Sure, that's your question.
I was curious, besides maybe Star Wars, which I watched 1,000 different times across the years, what movie have you bought the most? Like from VHS all the way.
Isn't it just Star Wars? I think you jumped ahead with one of my questions. I bought Star Wars probably 25 times.
Yeah.
Well, wait, are you asking that question now?
Yeah, let's ask it now. Star Wars.
Okay.
I would say the Evil Dead trilogy are easily movies I bought. Until I didn't have to buy it because I shot that movie.
There you go.
But so how many times have you guys bought Star Wars? I've probably 25 times. Laserdisc.
All right.
I bought it on beta.
Yeah.
I actually have it on beta.
All right, I did the count before we came in. So originally I recorded it onto a VHS when you could like put two VHS together. Then there was the initial VHS, the Columbia House $1 each widescreen Laserdiscs that you signed up for.
Was that a clamshell?
No. It was just a Laserdisc, but they were $70. But if you joined Columbia House, you got them for $1 each. So everybody did it that way. Then there was a widescreen VHS box. There was the Faces Laserdisc, the Special Edition Laserdisc, the the Definitive Collection, the first DVD, the second DVD that had the theatrical cuts in it, then the Blu-ray, then I rebought them for the Steelbooks, and then ultimately ended up with the despecialized edition.
How many times?
13.
13, okay. What about you? About the same number?
I bought it 7 times.
What is the despecialized edition, Charlie? Tell us about it and where to get it and what website.
I have no idea. It was given to me by a guy named Cliff Stephenson on a Blu-ray a while ago. To talk to Cliff, but it's amazing because it's like this. What's his name? Harmy. This guy named Harmy went about and restored the original trilogy, and he's on version 2.5 of all 3 at this point.
Yeah, they've gone through. They found better elements. They found 35 millimeter.
So he's
prints and
slowly restoring it with the elements that are available to him, and he's done a hell of a job. And they're available. It's only 720p, and yet that is still much better than
the next versions will be 1080.
Well, there you go.
He's working on the 1080 versions now. So
I'd say as we wait for that hopeful day when they might come out, officially, that's a nice, placeholder.
When you said that you wouldn't buy the specialized or special editions at all, was that just the Blu-ray, or was it also including the DVD that had the theatrical?
Well, I won't buy
the crap theatrical.
Right, I wouldn't buy that either just because that's a substandard, product. That's what it boils down to. For my opinion, it's a substandard product to put out what we already had better of in other formats. So, and it's not like I begrudge anyone from buying it. Buy whatever version you want. I just would rather not buy the version that I don't want.
George Lucas got to eat, man. You can support him for just pennies a day.
Get our next question from the audience, sir.
I just want to ask this panel if you had one kind of dream project that you should work on, or like for a shot back release, is one thing that you should do that you kind of always want to do, if you had anything you could pick from?
Star Wars.
Dream project. Sir, you win Adventures of Dr. Bonsai. Second and dish. Okay, was, I mean, Star Wars is like
Yeah, Star Wars is like number one for sure. And to do it the full comprehensive.
Like with the real deleted scenes, like all the big stuff.
Everything. Do swing through fences and do the massive.
And I heard only recently in an interview with Mark Hamill where he talked about how they reshot the scene where he runs into Princess Leia and says, "I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you." He had to reshoot it because when he originally shot that scene, he said, "I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you."
Oh, nice.
So they had to reshoot that scene. He just talked about that at Celebration Europe, which was really fascinating. I'd love to see all of those alternate takes. But that would be great if you did that. Like, gentlemen, what's your dream project? Jeff, feel free to
My dream project is the Eric Stoltz Back to the Future. I know it exists. It's in their vaults, and they just need to give it to us.
It could be like the Raiders guys, where Eric Stoltz comes in as an older dude and like does his scenes.
Yeah.
Who knows? Cliff. Brian, what are you going to say?
Well, I was going to say that for years I had to say Transformers the movie, the 86 one, because I did the G1 collection on DVD. It was the only thing I wasn't allowed to do. And everyone wanted it for years, but this week, in fact, tomorrow, that Blu-ray goes to the plant. So I got to work on that one, but I would easily say, hands down, the thing that I would want to work on right now would probably be Time Bandit.
Yeah.
What would you do that's different than Criterion?
See, that's the thing, is there's a number of things that were on the Criterion, but I didn't feel like... And one thing that a lot of people don't necessarily understand is it's not necessarily that the producers of discs didn't try. It's that sometimes you just can't get people to talk about things or shoot them. I just feel like there's a doc in there that needs to be made on that movie.
And I cannot wait for the thing. John Carpenter was saying they're doing like almost.
Let's get our next question from the audience. Sir, please.
Hi, my name is Assistant. I love when you guys had DVDDuesday. I was part of the tackle of the show. You did Rank by Pass. Is there any movie for each of you guys that would be an ultimate buy and one that's an ultimate pass?
Yes. First of all, a pass. Stress to Kill with Armando Sanchez. We're shooting at home. Sure. I would say a Rent 80 on Blu-ray. There's a Rent. And then buy is UHF with Beer and Law.
So if the first three were Rent by Pass, what is Dick Shark?
Okay, I'm not asking you to name names or anything, but do you know of any Easter eggs or special features that only guys in the industry know of that the public doesn't know?
Oh, that's a good question. So, and you guys are actually asking a lot of questions that I had for this panel. Interesting special features. One of my favorite interesting special features is on a movie called Wet Hot American Summer. You guys know about that film?
Sure.
It's from the Netflix series. On the DVD for Wet Hot American Summer, there's this fart track. Where you can select a track, and it's the entire movie but with fart sounds. And the fart sounds, look, first of all, they're very well curated fart sounds. At exactly the right point, at exactly the right place. So that's a really interesting special feature. You guys, what would you say is a really interesting special feature that's maybe perhaps unique? Stands what do you say?
But you're curious about Easter eggs, though, right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's stuff out there that only you guys know about and talk about.
Yeah. What do you guys respond to that? And sure, you're gonna get Dick Shark. You're gonna get.
I'm just honestly curious.
There are a certain number of DVDs out there in the world, and I've got a full list that has Easter eggs. It's got a weird guy talking to you, telling you not to blink. I don't know what that's all about. Only industry insiders know about, but
Yeah, I mean, they could have it. It was like Easter egg websites and things. I mean, one of the ones I did that I count as one of the stupidest Easter eggs I've ever done was on the James Bond movie Die Another Day. There's an Easter egg buried on there, which is basically when they shot Halle Berry's famous rise out of the water on the beach. They shot it with 3 cameras at different speeds, so slow motion. It was 24 frames, different lenses. So I got all those angles of Halle Berry coming up out of the water in slow motion and put it on one screen that's multi-angle so you can surf from camera to camera to camera. And you put it on a loop so you can watch it to your heart's content until you're done watching it.
That's arguably better than the film itself.
There's no argument. Cliff, what about you? Do you have one in mind?
That I've done?
Yeah.
I did a movie called Swimming with Sharks, and the director, George, he was an intern. I think he worked at Sony. He was an intern or production assistant. But he worked when Robert Rodriguez came in to do El Mariachi, and so he and Robert Rodriguez had sort of become friends. And on the last day that he was quitting to go make his movie, Robert Rodriguez drew this cartoon for him. Of him quitting, basically, like he was the Hulk. And so we have a thing on the Swimming with Sharks DVD where Robert Rodriguez tells that story. It's in an Easter egg, but then if you hit enter while you're inside that Easter egg, it takes you to another Easter egg where you get to look at the picture up close and look at his drawing that he did for George. And that's probably the only Easter egg I've ever done.
The documentary In Revolution was a documentary about comic books. It's really fantastic, and that one. Big hand for this gentleman. Yes, sir. What's your question?
Hey guys, I really love this is my second time using Stanley. I saw it when I back in March. I had a question that's sort of
So you already have the copy.
I got excited. What was that movie?
Don't worry, I have a copy for you. Maybe something else too. What's your question?
My question is about any movies that are worth it just for the TV commentary. Like, if you don't like the movie, one minute.
Oh, that's easy. Armageddon. Armageddon and Total Recall, because if you watch it, Arnold just describes the movie to you. Like I put it on thinking I'm going to get some insight. He's like, well, in this scene, I've got the ding up my nose. I'm digging it out of my... I'm like, he's just describing the effing movie. Yeah, it's fantastic. That's heartbreaking.
That is his genius. First of all, this documentary called The Beginning.
Yeah.
The making of episode 1 without any swelling Star Wars music. It's just a blank wall making of the movie. It's one of the funniest movies you will ever see. It's actually on the Star Wars YouTube channel because Disney put it up there. And it's freaking hilarious because you see documented for you all of the horrible mistakes.
Yeah. It's like watching them build the Hindenburg. And you're like, if I could just reach in and tell them not to do this. The key to the whole thing is Jar Jar. That's the whole key. Like, what are you doing? And then they picked the wrong kid for Anakin.
Well, I think that's true. But I think one of the scariest moments is watching him with the 2 different color shots.
Oh, yeah.
CG, practical, CG, practical.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Practical, CG,
You know that there's waiting for him to leave, thinking, look, just do what you want. Just, he's crazy. He's senile.
To reward that question, I have a copy of Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes. Go ahead, guys, and say it. And Hannibal season 3 on. You may not ask the question, but you might actually walk out of here with a
Chris, there's a whole sequence on that Phantom Menace one of Ewan McGregor getting a haircut.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what? It's more riveting than the film itself.
His daughter is collecting the hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hi guys. For me, it was Ali Fear Each Soul. Import copy. I want to know for you guys, ask, what's a copy or a film that was either really rare or very difficult to get a copy of?
Oh, when before I started producing discs, I was a reviewer for DVD File, which is an old DVD website that's long gone. But one of the things that got sent to me was when Boogie Nights was released on DVD, there was an hour version of this John Holmes documentary called Exhausted, which I think had been on the Criterion Laserdisc, but that was out of print. And sometime between when I had gotten my disc sent to me for review and when the disc actually was released, they had a rights issue with this documentary, and it had to be pulled from the disc. So I have a copy of Boogie Nights that has this John Holmes documentary that ended up getting pulled. That's probably the rarest thing I own. Because they were numbered, so I think there was like 30 of them total made.
Remember when Warner Brothers released Little Shop of Horrors with the alternate ending without asking?
I have that too, yeah.
David Geffen, yeah. Mine is, Chris, do you have The Perils of Gwendolyn in the Land of the Yik Yak with Tawny Katane? I got that one as a gift. That's a really hard disc to find. Right?
Well, sir, you win.
Give them something rare.
Not just in shark. Not just in shark. But I got a 4K version of Kingsman. Oh! You really need to ask questions if you're going to get the good stuff. Yeah, that's a good question.
We're learning anything designed that Big Shark is not a rare DVD.
True. Yeah, yes, that's a question.
My question is kind of about, I think maybe more towards like movies that have been on DVD for a while and are released on Blu-ray, or something where instead of the default being to show the theatrical version, the default then becomes to show a version where like a scene that was originally deleted is now inserted into the movie. And I know it's happened with other films, and I still don't the new releases, but I guess do you have any insight as to why this happens, or what your opinion that would be? Because
I mean, I think it's case by case, based on the director's wishes, the elements that are available. I know, like Michael Mann has gone back and re-edited Land of the Legions twice now, I think, and that's the only version that he wants out. Again, to talk about Blade Runner, he put all 5 versions out there so that whatever your favorite flavor of Blade Runner was there for you to enjoy. So I think it's a philosophical thing for different filmmakers, and then sometimes it's an accident, frankly. It's like some older film that no one was around to kind of, take care of. Just someone took the best master off the shelf and they put it on. That, was not the right version to put out, but that's what they thought was the best thing. So there's a variety of reasons why I think that happens, but I don't know if you guys have stories about that.
Well, I mean, I'll say, not to defend this, but as somebody who creates stuff, who does documentaries and edits and does all this stuff, when you put something out there and then you kind of go, God, I wish I would have gone left when I should have gone right, and I don't like that edit, like I screwed that up, I made that wrong. I absolutely understand and sympathize with a director who says, I don't like that choice I made, and I just want to fix it. And we sometimes get a little too caught up in like, no, the first way I saw something is the absolute way. There is no other way. But the reality is these are kind of living things, and they are a little bit like, they are subject to change. Now, like in the case of Blade Runner, it's great that they include all the versions because all the versions are radically different. But like something like The Phantom Menace where they extended the pod race, I don't think anybody really longs for the shorter pod race and goes, I hate this change, because it's so sort of minor in the overall thing.
But a lot of home video collectors are completionists, and they want to know they have every version available on their shelf, and then they feel comfortable and warm at night because they've got their little...
But the ironic thing is they'll generally they'll want to watch only one version, and so that version... Here's the really scary part. We are 1 year away from Star Wars existing in its altered form than we had it in its original form. And I say original because even that sort of changed more. Yeah. But we have 1 year where we've lived with this version of a movie as long as we lived with the version that most of us saw as kids. And so then you have to go back to those people that have seen it for the last 20 years, and you kind of, you have to sympathize and say, I hate the idea of taking that away from you in order to get this other version. And they should have both versions. But there are some people that's the version that they grew up with, and they wouldn't know any other version. If you take that version away, they're going to hate the original version. So it's a weird dichotomy that you have to sort of.
You're just like Jennifer Grey's nose.
Yes.
Because those people who know her now are like, that's Jennifer Grey, and I'm like, no, that's not Jennifer Grey.
That's not the Jennifer Grey I grew up with.
That's not the one I grew up. You have the special edition Jennifer Grey.
And there's a shitty movie to go friend. What's your question, sir?
Hey, I was wondering what's a movie you weren't too keen on the first time watching it, and then you watch the commentary behind the scenes and just click, and you're like, hey, wow, it makes sense now. I really like this movie.
I mean, I can tell you a movie I worked on that I wasn't too keen on, and then the more I watched it, the more I worked on it, I loved it, was Waiting. The first time I saw Waiting, I was like, it's not that funny. I don't know that it's that great. And like as I had to watch it a million times as I was putting all the stuff together, it made me laugh harder and harder. And now I love it. But that was a movie that I was pretty lukewarm on. That through working on it, actually, I came to appreciate. I'm done.
That's a tough one. Because I think that no special feature is more important than the feature itself. So to find special features that somehow magically changes your perception of the film or gives you a better appreciation of it, which I hope is what happens, but it's really, I can't think of one that completely radically changes my take on the movie. Do you have one? What's your favorite? Yeah, it's tough, right?
Well, then why'd you ask?
And you win a copy of The Last Unicorn, the Enchanted Edition on Blu-Ray. And then that other one that you're giving away
Hey, Chris, what do you think of, remember they used to say, like, the disc would come out, the movie would come out on disc, then it would come out as a special edition, and now the crap is like the Bueller edition, or like the Big Mama's House, Bigger Mama's House edition. Why is that? You got an answer, thank God.
I can answer that only because what's interesting, this is a little inside baseball, but it comes down to sales on places like Amazon. If I look up Ferris Bueller, the special edition, and 5 different things come up, and they all have the same cover, or whatever, we don't necessarily know, but if you put the SKU in that says the Bueller edition, then that's the first one.
Right. The problem, though, is that this is minutia, but this is what it's for, right? The Bueller edition doesn't have the commentary by John Hughes that the original version had.
Yeah.
Don't you hate that when the disc comes out again and it has less on it?
Unfortunately, we have to we only have 5 minutes left, so if you guys are standing in line, if you come really close here, you're going to get some really cool DVDs. You should come up close, because what I'm going to do at this very moment is a DVDuesday rapid fire. Right out of here. So I hope you're good at catching.
I know.
So, yeah, what's your quick question? What's your quick question?
Which of you is going to make Vagina Shark?
Which of you is going to make Vagina Shark? If you get a copy of Dick Shark.
I think Chris...
I want to make a
Put 60 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm going to review as many DVDs as I can in 60 seconds. Charlie, come in.
And go.
Here we go. No Way Out, which is a great movie with Kevin Costner right here. Fantastic. This is a movie called Non-Stop to Comic-Con, which is all about action Comic-Con. Then we got a documentary called The Dam, which is about the This is a horror movie. No one's ever seen this movie. If you can read this and title of the movie, like, it's terrible, it's awful. Okay. How about this?
You can throw that one.
Movie called Reservoir Dogs, which is an R-rated movie. Oh my God, Charlie, that's good. Charlie, that's Justice League, which is definitely not a movie that Supergirl. 10. No one should have this movie. Someone is playing
5,
no one should have this. Screw that.
2, 1.
Then you're going to put the anniversary edition. There you go. No. Okay, that's it.
Yeah!
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?
Sci-Fi Channel presents Dick Sharknado. Starring the other guy from 90210. Luke Perry.